Hi everyone. Well, this is a very small cullet of full lead crystal, and I have sketched a very, very wacky abstract owl on it, using the top and the bottom, or the back and the front, whichever way you want to look at it, with this Sharpie, a peel-off Sharpie, which I have no idea how it works. I can't get that thing to work. So if you have any idea, do tell me. And I'm talking about the peel-off bit. Okay, right, I have a small green stone in the drill at the moment, and obviously not at the speed. This is very, very high speed. I am very roughly drawing in the funny shapes. It is so rough, in fact, that I needn't have drawn anything. I could have just gone straight in freehand. Here I have got water dripping and a good old chunky coarse diamond burr. I am creating a really, really deep hole. 2 deep holes actually. Because I'm working on the back first, these eyes are going to be viewed from the front, and they will look 3D. 3D both in their depth of engraving, but also in the fact that they are based at the back of the cullet. So we can have fun with this. There you can see already they are quite deep, and I will demonstrate with my little bit of white tack. I always use white tack because I find if you're in a country that has a blue tack option, I just never ever get on with the blue tack. I find it quite awful. This is much more efficient. There you can see how deep I've gone so far, and I'm going to go even deeper. Now, I'm demonstrating the direction at which the burr is turning, away from me basically. And by coming down and engraving around this way, I'm going against the grain, and it has a really nice grip doing that. It's going round and round and round. It's not going with the flow. I don't think I was running this drill very fast, and it just had a really, really nice feel about it. Okay, so I've gone quite deep now, and here I've got a small diamond burr, and I'm engraving around the outer edges, so going even deeper. Now, the reason I am creating this video is because one of my patrons, and that is Pete, he suggested that I engrave a very deep, like what would be a funnel effect or a tubular effect. Now, I've done some very, very basic sort of items growing from the bottom of the ocean, if you like, just spikes really. But to create a tube would be interesting. So basically I would suggest this is the format. So you first go deep, and then you take a smaller burr than the one you went deep with and go even deeper, but around the edges. Okay. So the idea, of course, for that would be to make the middle of it dark. So here I've got a Dura white. So polishing out, well, toning down and smoothing out the middle area, pre-polishing. As you can see, it's already much darker, and then a rubber will make it even darker. If you imagine a slightly smaller version of this and deeper, then from the other side it would appear sort of tubular-like, if you know what I mean. So here I'm using a grey rubber. Now, if you can imagine, if you make the outer edge of that large circle even deeper, then this will look like a tube from the other side. So this is a very kind of large flat version of the tubular effect. But in my case, I need them to be eyes. So I've gone back in with a diamond, and I'm just making the center area of the eye more rounded. It was looking quite flat because obviously I was playing with the tubular idea, but I've made it more rounded, and now I'm going back in with the Dura White to soften that diamond. But this is not an ordinary eyeball. Obviously, an ordinary eyeball would be completely sort of a smooth sphere, whereas this we've got indentations, but this is a completely abstract owl, and these eyeballs are really, really wacky. Okay, so now polishing again, and you can see it's much, much more rounded. Oogly eyes. Oogly eyes for my abstract owl. Okay, now I've got a sort of medium-sized diamond, and I'm putting yet another indentation around the outside of the eyes now. And yes, one looks bigger than the other, and it doesn't matter. This is a bit of a crazy owl. This is absolute freedom. I love it. Now, to be even more free, this is a diamond disc, small diamond disc. Sorry, I'm going out the picture a little bit here. And I'm engraving pretty deep, to be honest. Obviously, still, this film is running pretty fast. I'd say, I think I did it three times the speed. So, roughly creating a hairy effect. I am on the upper surface, by the way, now. Previously, I was on the back surface, the same surface as the eyeballs, and now I am on the upper surface. And engraving roughly around where the eyeballs would be if they were on the upper surface. So there's a hole there now. There's a gap of clear glass so that you can see the eyeballs. And I'm going really, really deep with this diamond. Okay, this is a diamond burr that's a sort of a flame shape. And I'm creating a ridiculously large beak at this point. Back to my diamond disc. This burr is interesting. It doesn't come off like you would a lot of the wheel burrs. It is fixed. The direction that I'm working in is roughly the direction of the feathers on the front of the face of an owl, obviously. So now I'm creating what would be roughly the outline of the face. and just pushing in some deep grooves with this burr. They're random, so they don't look like a furrow. And I'm going over the edge, as some of it was a little bit sharp still. This can be ground down gently and polished as well, in fact. If you wanted, you can do whatever you want with it, really. So now filling in what would be background, more smoother, not smoother, but more shallow engraving. Lots and lots of dust, so clearly you need to be wearing a mask. You can also obviously be using your water at this point as well. Here I have a round diamond burr that is of a finer grit, which means that it is slightly smoother, which means it's not going to be as rough on the surface, so it's going to do it. When I say do, I mean engrave with a softer effect, more or verging on a half-tone effect, in fact. And I'm going very lightly over the obviously rather deeply engraved, the feathers, and that just brings it all together. So this is the back of it's still the back of the bird at the moment. This is a large black rubber wheel, and I'm roughly going all over the back and now on the front. It's leaving some residue, basically because the ruts that I engraved with that diamond wheel are quite coarse, and they're just grabbing the rubber and leaving that mark. So here I have got a little brush wheel in the drill, quite useful. And here I have a normal brush, paintbrush. If you use a coarse paintbrush, it's easier to get out all the bits from the grooves, all the diamond dust. So I'm just going over these little random grooves on the outer edge. Bearing in mind, you do need to check, not that I'm too fussy with this piece, but you don't want too many really bad chips. And I'm talking about what you make with the diamond burrs, especially the wheels. So this hard black rubber will be quite good, in fact, at removing chips to a degree. If you've got a really bad one, you'll have to go over it again with a diamond and then work backwards. So by running that over the edges, it's made some of the areas dark, which is good so that you can see the movement of the feathers. So these owls have feathers coming up and out from the beak. And I looked at the beak and I thought, you know what, that is a ridiculously oversized beak. So, out with the large flame diamond burr, And I am engraving even deeper around the bottom of that beak. And then re-engraving an idea of a beak. I decided to give it some sharp edges, and I'm back to engraving the hairy bits around the beak. This is a small diamond burr, which I'm just neatening up the edges of this little beak. I wouldn't say this is a particularly neat engraving. In fact, not even remotely a neat engraving. But there's certain aspects of it that need to be neat. Small diamond, just finishing up the beak. As I say, you're looking through the glass to the eyes in the background, and very roughly keeping those in mind as you have been engraving on the top. It's not at all 100% accurate, but I think it's rather effective. So, signing my name as usual. Always sign your work. Right, so what do you think of that? A random little cullet of crystal with a very, very oogly-eyed abstract owl. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Do have a lot of fun with your abstract engraving. Pick a creature and turn it into a wacky 3D cartoon. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye for now.